all of you are currently in jobs, but I think, as you think about people and colleagues and how are people finding jobs, in your friends, and I know that you, Brian, are working show to show. How do you find your next show? And if people are working sound and they're not in the union, how can they be getting jobs? So maybe a little of that, but we can maybe start with like the day-to-day, just a touch of that.
I'm supervising day-to-day, so basically overseeing what my team is doing. Every Monday we have an orientation on Zoom online. It can be found at bwiny.org. So people like you, we have a whole audience, usually 30 to 40 people, listening to more about the program in detail, and then they fill out an application online, so you never have to come in and do that. Pre-COVID, it was always schlepping down to Brooklyn, listening, and then people would be like, oh, it's not for me, and then I'm gonna go home. But if it is for you, you fill out the application. We call you, you don't call us, but
please don't call
right,
us.
please don't call us. But what we tell people is we do 4 classes per year. We refer to them as cycles. So if you don't get called for the one that's upcoming, you may get called for the next one, or obviously the next one, and we keep your applications on file for 1 year. So someone on my staff is reviewing, handling the interviews. Sometimes I do a second interview with that person. If you are selected, you're brought to a tryout, and that's when you meet us in person, us with the whole team. Just fast forward to where we are now, we actually have a class or a cycle in session right now. It's our 73rd class, so
wow.
We've been around since 2006, so amazing. 17 years of Made in New York. For me, I've been working with the program since cycle 25, so I've seen a lot of people come in and out the door. In terms of just from this portion of not knowing much about working on set and production to being trained and then going out into the world. Obviously right now with the strikes, hopefully coming to an end soon. One of them just ended today, the writers. So we're happy for that, and hopefully SAG, AFTRA will follow pretty soon, because it's really affected a lot of the work that our PAs have gotten, but thankfully as a PA you can do non-union work. So we've had some people do like reality shows or non-union commercials, documentaries, photo shoots. Fashion Week was just here, which is a good thing because we were able to connect a few of our grads to that, to be able to get some work. It's not as consistent as working on an episodic TV show like a Law and Order, which those usually run for like 8 or 9 months. Yeah. There's certain perks that come with that, like a steady check and health benefits, but it's still a freelance world, and we prepare our people for that. And for me personally, I'm making connections with different networks and corporate entities. I'm talking to people like from Disney and NBC to make sure that the pipeline between our graduates and the work is there, because there's just so much of it anticipated to come back to New York once the strikes are over. So it's all about relationship building and networking, no matter what level you are at. You being here today is networking,
Yes.
And even if you don't get to speak with us at the end, talk to each other.
I was just going to say that, and I'm sure you all hear this too, is it's so important to network laterally, so to speak, and I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But I think that's such an important thing to take away.